What's up, YouTube? We're back with another episode of What the Hell I Doing. Today, I've got a really cool one for you guys. I'm going to take you guys through a journey through a place that I grew up at and ended up working at later. A place that my dad was a part owner of and now is abandoned. This place that's sitting behind me here, this former Chrysler dealership, it's been closed now since 2010 and it's been probably abandoned now since about 2016. And yes, my dad was a part owner here, and I did work here, and I was a child here at one point in time too. So why don't we take a closer look at this place and see what we can find. Oh, and before we do, we're over 900 subscribers now. We're getting close to the goal of 1,000. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please do. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Once we get there, things are going to start getting crazier and crazier because we're going to keep digging deeper in all these cool places. Let's see what we can find at this place, and I'll tell you a little bit about the history here. Okay guys, so we're going to start this one behind the dealership here. And yes, this was a place that I worked at from 1997 to 2002. My dad worked here from about 1984, I believe. And he sold his half of the dealership in 1999. And he never worked again after that. So I'm kind of envious of how things worked out for him. But yeah, this is what remains of the dealership here. From here we're kind of looking at the back of the parts department. The shop has actually been torn down. So as I walk you guys around this place, I'm going to show you some pictures that I have from the 90s of what used to be in this area and the way things used to look. But yeah, this back here would have been the shop area here, and just in front of those weeds, kind of, you can see where the pavement ends. That's actually where the building came to, roughly. And like through this weeded area right here, this used to be the driveway around the back. I remember one time one of the mechanics actually forgot to tighten up wheel nuts on a car. And while the customer was waiting in the drive-thru that was over here, we had our lock guy bring the car around this way, around the back. And one of the wheels wasn't tightened up and it fell off, and he actually drove right through the fence that used to be on these posts, right in front of the customer. No word of a lie, these things go on at dealerships all the time. Doesn't matter how good a place is run, things happen. Everybody's got funny stories. So something funny did happen when I was here last. I actually filmed this place a few months ago. I got caught. There's cameras right there, guys, so do not come to this place. They were very nice to me. They let me off the hook. I just got escorted out of the building. But yeah, don't come here. So from over here, this is the corner of the lot here. I'm just going to show you guys a picture over top. But as you can see, this is this side of the shop when it was formerly here. It was a pretty cool little spot. It was very tight. It was in the middle of Scarborough. You know, it was the middle of this neighborhood. It was very cool. And this dealership actually was around as a different dealership, named after the streets here before the owner took it over and named it to Craig Hind. So let's continue our way around here. We're not going to go on the property today because I already got caught doing that. So there used to be a sign here for live patrol. Those are the security guys that got me. So over here, what we have here is the former service drive-through. Now they've got lines painted on the ground because they use this area as a demo showroom for the condos. But where those lines are right there, that used to be a drive-through. That ramp there was wheelchair access to the drive-through from the showroom. So the building came out roughly to where this piece of plywood is here. And people would drive in. There was two doors on the front here, and they would be able to come in one side and then drive out the back here. And then there was an entrance to the shop. But if you go through those planks there, that's where the service cashier and the manager's office would be right in front of me on the left here, just below the window. And that window up there is actually to the accountant's office. That was part of the addition too. And this window here under the ledge was the controller's office. Now, I didn't get to film those because I got caught, but I did get some pictures, so I'll show them to you guys so you know what it looks like. And some of the areas of the dealership I actually saw in 2016 when they were doing the condo renovations. I told them who I was, they let me in, so I managed to get some pictures then. I'll show you guys what it looked like. Over here, where that man and the lady are, that's still part of the addition of the dealership. But where the area is sunk in back there, that's actually the original building, which you're going to see in all the photos. I don't have any photos of the dealership post-renovation, but what's standing here is pretty much the original structure, minus the shop, with a little bit of the add-on here with the offices. You know, it's crazy seeing it from this angle here. At one point in time, looking down here, you would have seen cars all the way to the fence back there. All different directions. The used car lot was over there, and the front up here was all new cars. And you had the Chrysler sign at the corner here, which is now covered up with the condo signs. Of course, we had the entrance to the showroom on the side there. That actually was how it was. The showroom is completely different now. I did not get to film that either, unfortunately, but I'll show you guys from outside and show you pictures. And of course, here's another view of it. Okay, let's go check out this other area over here that's open. All right, guys, so this is the front of the dealership here on the main street. So this area here, this is where they would have had all the new cars lined up in front of the place. They had them all the way out here. And I'll tell you a funny story. One time about 30 years ago, when they first had the Dodge Stealth come out, we had a twin turbo sitting in the showroom here. And this is the same showroom, nothing's changed. If I show you guys from this angle here, there's the double doors. They're kind of broken, but that's where you used to bring the cars in and out of the showroom. And that was a customer door just to the right of them there. But yeah, at one point in time, we had a twin turbo Stealth sitting in there. And thieves came at night. They broke into the place. They literally drove it out the glass right here. Drove it down this part of the lot here. Through the cars. And out onto traffic here, and they drove it away. And after that, we actually had barriers put up here. Yeah, it was like a barrier of poles and a fence. And that stopped people from stealing cars that way. And another time we were here, I remember they stole my dad's Cherokee. He used to park over there by that fence. That was where his parking was. And he was in his office still, and everybody in the showroom saw his vehicle start pulling out. So they're all waving goodbye to him. And then he came out from his office and said goodbye for the day. And they realized his car had been stolen. Pretty wild. All right, everybody, we're inside the dealership now, so I'm going to take you for a quick tour to show you what's left of this place. And I'm going to tell you some stories along the way so you can, well, get an idea of why this place is kind of a special place to me in terms of memories. A lot of things happened here over the years, so, you know, it's kind of crazy coming back to see it like this. But right now, we're inside an entrance at the side of the building, and in front of me here would have been a door that went to the service department. These stairs here would have went up to the offices. And these actually gained access to the building so you could go to parts or service or the showroom. So let's work our way in and see what's going on. Okay, so we're inside the dealership. Like I said, if we go this way here, we've got the service department. We got a couple of washrooms. We got our way up to parts, and we've got our way over to the showroom. We'll start with the service department because I know there's not much left of it. So as we went down here, this used to be a vending machine area here. And this is all part of the new part of the building. This was all an add-on. This would have been the parking lot before. So So yeah, there's the service department door. As we go in here, it's all boarded off on the side here. This actually used to be a big drive-through area. As you can see, we still have the buttons for the garage doors, which aren't here anymore. Remnants of an alarm. And of course, we got the other doors. There was 2 doors on each side, just behind that wall. And if you look over here, this was the old service manager's office. The guy that controlled this part of the dealership, one of the best service managers I ever worked with. He was fair, but stern. That's the way to put it. He really knew how to deal with people, but if you didn't work for him or lied to him, you were done. That's an old interesting table. I'm not sure why that's here. I don't think that was from the dealership. But as you can see, yeah, this place has been kind of exposed for a while. You got your turds in the corner. And that would have been a view out to the shop at one point in time, which is no longer here. Well, we've even got mold. Is there a name on the door? No, his name is not on the door anymore. There were 2 service managers here in the time that I spent here. But neither one of their names on the door. And this was the service cashier here. So this way, if you went this way, you would have got into the shop, which is now gone. Is the door locked? Yes, it is. And in here, this was the back side of the service cashier. And what we got over here? Okay, so they were planning to build condos here. There's been a couple different companies in this spot. That's why nothing has happened. But I guess that's what it would look like at the one point in time. I don't know what this is. Funding, yeah. Just random stuff left behind. Over here used to be a photocopier. No longer here, of course. Okay, so I just got this door open. There's a hole in the glass. So yeah, there's not much left to see out here. Up there is the remnants of the shop ceiling, but they've boarded off the rest. So right here, you just had some mechanical stuff. And we had a key box there for all the customer cars. Or for the cars that were going in for service, I should say. Now over here, if this wall wasn't here, there would have been a door that went down to the basement immediately on the other side. Inside there would have been an office for the shop foreman. And just to the left of that would have been a door that went up to the parts department. And not too far down from there was also a mechanic's washroom. But unfortunately, those are all covered up. We can't get into those. Okay, and like this says here, if you go this way, you're going to get to the parts department and the showroom. We'll just show you one more look of the former service department here. Unfortunately, not a whole lot to see. Box office tickets. I don't know what this is for. 2016. Looks like the last time anybody was in here was 2016 or around then. So in here, we've got a woman's washroom. I've never actually seen it. Excuse me. This place has just been picked over. Toilets are empty. Lots of trash in here though. Trash everywhere. And over here we got the little stall. I think someone left a gift in there. But yeah, these bathrooms aren't big. But they don't look any different than I remember too. I haven't worked here now since 2002. But I used to come back and visit because I had a lot of friends that were still here. In here, I guess that's just where the water stuff was. Yeah. The main water valve and shut off is right here. It looks like when they were modifying this place, they did that. They converted the front into a showroom. I'll show you guys that. This is the men's washroom. And Yeah, this doesn't look any different than I remember. Exactly the same. This is when I first learned, when I used to sit in there, the people didn't wash their hands. You'd sit in here and watch them come and go. You got some electrical stuff up there for the network and the phones. And my cousin, second cousin, used to work here as a plumber. I remember one time this urinal got plugged, and people kept using it till it was full. The poor guy had to take it off the wall and carry it out like a baby in his arms, and it was splashing all over him. He was so upset, and rightfully so. Okay, so we'll go this way first. We'll go up these stairs here. Now this is where it becomes really familiar to me. I worked over there. My dad, he worked here. And these stairs used to go down to the showroom. And of course, we had finance offices and used cars and all that. Well, not used cars. I think this was finance. And I think, yeah, assistant sales managers there. But this here, this was the general manager's office. The dealer principal's office. This is where my dad used to work. Now, it's not his office anymore, obviously. This became like a construction office when they were converting this place. They left a lot of stuff behind, though. None of this is his. Those shelves, they're theirs. They weren't here before. He used to have a desk along that wall, and one that came along this wall, and it came out like an L to here. And many times I got caught in here by my dad when I was working here, playing on his computer on lunch break. I got in trouble every single time because I'm an employee, not his son. And he has a valid point, and I now understand that all these years later. Over here, there used to be a table and some seats. I remember one time when me and my sister came here as kids to go to lunch with my dad, she left her dolls here. And that night she refused to go to bed until my dad came back here to get the dolls. And he did. And he did. That was the kind of dad he is. If we go over here, he had his own personal washroom. And this bathroom is exactly as it was. It has not changed. Even the counter is exactly the same. He used to hide all the vending machine stuff in here. Is there anything left? No. He used to leave the vending machine stuff here. And, oh, look, nice. Somebody used the toilet and left a little gift. What's up, everybody? But yeah, he used to leave all the vending machine stuff in here, which was kind of cool. And I used to use this washroom sometimes. And he did not approve of that either, because I was his son, and I'm not supposed to be doing that at work. I understand that now. But one time after he told me, Dad, you'll probably be watching this, I'm sorry if you still get upset. One time after he told me don't use my washroom again, I used it again. And while I was in here, I heard him coming into the office with the controller from upstairs. So I flipped these lights off over here. And I sat in darkness for 2 hours while they had a meeting. And I was eating the peanut butter cups in the dark because I just didn't know what to do otherwise. I was actually afraid that if he came into that room, he would kill me. And the funny thing is the entire time that that was going on, my boss was paging me from the parts department looking for me. And I never showed up. That's because I was trapped. This is the closet where they used to keep the helium for the balloons and stuff. Now there's just building materials left. Okay, we'll go this way. We'll check out parts. Oh, and to conclude my story, I did not get caught. They left a fridge here. It's empty. None of this was here before. So when I worked here, there was a counter that came out to here. You can see on the wall where it was. You can see on the floor where it was. And there was a flip counter, so you could flip it up and go in. But now we can just walk straight in. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been here. And if you hear that, yeah, the lights are still working. This place closed in 2010. Those lights are still barely flickering. So from here, there used to be a counter that came out like this. And we had a computer right there in the corner that we used to use to help serve the customers. In here was Jay's old office. Jay was my parts manager back in the day. One of the best people I ever worked with. One of the best people I know. And this was his office. Not a very big one. But we had some good chats in here. Some good moments. And out here, this is the parts area. I'm going to just turn the ISO up for a sec so you can see. They started to convert this into an apartment for the condo sales office, but they never finished it. So if we go this way over here, this was a view out to the shop. We used to have a counter right here. That's the old parts fan from the ceiling up there. So this counter used to come out like an L. We had a computer or two on this, and we had parts supplies under there. And the techs would come up from this door from the shop and get their stuff. Remember one time I threw a guy an oil filter and he couldn't catch. And it hit his hand and it hit that glass and shattered it. True story. And if we look up, yeah, they painted the ceilings black in here. I'm not sure why they did. They didn't finish what they started. So over here was where the work desks were for the guys that manned the phones. I used to sit over here. When I came in as a college student, I used to sit in the middle, right around here. And then when I worked here full time, my spot was over here. And they still have this on the wall. This is where we used to hang our fan belts and all that stuff. It's always been like that since I started here in '97. There's another fan from up high. They still even have the Lennox heaters. That's cool. So over here was an exit. Did they close it off? The door's still there. I'll show you. Yeah, so the door's there and that went down. Maybe we'll come up from the basement there. So I'll show you guys something funny here. This spot right here, you're going to see in this flashback I'm about to show here. When I first got my first mini DV camera, I brought it to work. And I recorded this funny little moment right here.
That's the introduction to the parts department. Who's coming around the corner?
I want to apologize.
What do you want to apologize for?
Rude behavior out there in the shop. Okay. And I didn't mean to catch you with your pants off in the washroom.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
Okay.
Okay.
I gotta go now.
All right. Thanks for coming by.
All right.
Don't forget to pick up your KY off the table.
You gonna show this to your father?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I might.
Yeah?
Well, maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe I'll just show it to my friends.
Tell your father I said hi.
I will.
And tell him his son is a clown.
His son's a clown. Isn't that what he told you?
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
All right.
Tell him he's a clown. What was that, John? What were you just doing?
I just gotta see something. Hold on.
Did you see that sunshine girl in the back of that paper? At the back, John.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Psychedelic.
Okay.
It's time to go home. I'd like to follow you, but I can't leave. This guy doesn't want to leave either. Here at Craig Hind, we strive to have the most professional looking stuff. To be avoided must have explanation. To be putting pending must have approval. Neither of which we follow the rules on.
Okay, can you just move it a bit closer to that thing, the screen? Okay, because I don't know.
This is the Craig Hind photo shoot.
But no, I'll get you just straight. No, I'll get you straight without you doing your thingamajigger.
What's my parts face?
Oh shit. Okay, I'll try it now. Just a sec. Gotta look up though.
No.
Okay. Why don't you? I should get your. I'm trying to reach my ear. I told her about that. I told her about that. She says, "What do you guys do at work?" You know, we had neighbors. Our next door neighbors do.
Where'd you steal that sign from?
John did that.
Did he?
Yeah. Recording now? Yeah. What are you recording? The cleanliness of this department.
I want to see the vid. How long is the vid?
Party? Yeah. Not that long.
Yep, clown around at work. That's how we did it. Got to have fun at work or there's no point. Okay, so this area over here, these walls weren't here before, but what we had here before were shelves that ran this way. And as you can see, there's one here. There's one here. There's one here. There's one here. And there's one here. And if you went back this way, there's another one there. I still remember the layout. Another one there. Another one there. And another one there. And these ran all the way to this back wall here, which the last time I was in here in 2016, they had opened up because they were going to have a walk-in to the apartment. But as you can see, they didn't finish it. They just put up drywall. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Ceilings are exactly as they were. Can't really see much, but they're just painted black. Nothing in here is really different, except for that cutout on the vent there. That's new. So if we go back here, of course this area was not fenced or walled off before, but when we came back here originally, this is where our Chrysler computer used to be. We used to have a computer hooked up by satellite to Chrysler's headquarters, and that's how we sent our orders. That's how they got our inventory information for other dealers, and all that stuff sat right in the corner here. In fact, what is this? That is, yep, that's the old BMAX satellite receiver. That's been here since the 80s. BMAC was an old scrambling system they used on C-band satellites. And Chrysler had a special channel on there at one point in time. My dad even brought that home once to try it on our satellite dish at home. It didn't work. But if we go over here, this would have been a fenced-in shipping area at one point. There was a fence pretty much right here, and it went around, and it locked on that wall. And of course, you would come here. From here, you would look down there and see the parts department, which is now, of course, walled off. But from here, you would have seen the shelves. And if you look this way, you would have seen our desks. Look at that old thermostat. Keep door closed. It was never closed, ever. And yeah, that was a 4-foot drop. If we open this here, this is where the trucks would drop off our parts, and this is where we would load our trucks. Some days we would come in, and there'd be 10 to 15 skids of antifreeze sitting outside to be loaded. And at one point in time, we used to pile them up kind of in that corner, beside the computer stuff. And over here was our ramp to the basement. Yeah, watch yourself. If you look down there, yeah, there's still a rust spot from where I spilled the paint. But down there, I threw a bunch of tires one time. We had a shipment of 200 tires come in. And there was like, it was my job to deal with it. So I threw all 200 down that ramp. I ended up injuring my back and having permanent nerve damage that day. So that's a little story tied to this place too. So we'll go over here. We'll check out the basement. Some of the tiles are still left in this area too, I'm noticing. Yeah, this is the basement here, so we'll show you this. This shelf here we used to use for bulk items. We used to put antifreeze, coolant, brake cleaner, extra air filters, all that stuff used to be piled here. Down here would be the entrance to the basement. And I remember one time my dad's partner was coming down here, and he was a tall man. I was standing here and watched him smash his head on this wall here, on the roof here. Try not laughing when you see that. All right, so this is the old parts basement. That's exactly how I remember it. Down here, we used to keep some of the accounting boxes, paperwork. At one point in time, there used to be a shelving unit along this wall that had all the books. And over here, we had parts shelves. You can see the markings on the floor still. So down here, we just kept big items, bigger pieces. We kept some skids of oil filters. You know, we would throw them down the ramp and then repile them up. Back here is where we used to keep all the exhaust stuff hung. You'll still see one of the hangers. And over here was some more electrical. Listen to that floor crunching up below me. It's been quite a long time since I've been down here. It's kind of nuts to see this. It's been so long, it's been 22 years almost. The wall's in much worse shape than I remember it. Yep. This was the old parts basement. We even had shelving along this wall at one point in time. And I remember at another point in time, me and my friend Chris had to work down here for a day and move all the accounting stuff against this wall. And of course, people were cutting into the ceiling to see the structure, and it's pretty rusty actually. I guess they were just checking out to see what's here for possible demolition. It's pretty interesting. And on this wall up here, we used to have our tire racks back in the day. I remember the first time my dad brought me to work here. I was in grade 8, I think. I got suspended, so I had to come to work. And day one, he left me with this beauty of a parts manager that used to work here. My dad said, give my son some work to do, make him work today. Teach him a lesson, basically, right? So the guy told me to come down here and wait here and look at the tire rack. And he was going to come down here and we were going to organize it. I stood there for 6 hours. He never came. He was a beauty, that guy. Over here, we had some equipment set up here at one point in time. This is where all the phone system stuff was. In this corner, we also had the CD player that played the music for the dealership and the hold music. There's some phone numbers there. Extensions, drive-through, shop, parts, yeah. There's the leftover of the bell feed and the phone system. What's crazy is all the network cabling that was done in here. After the renovation, my dad did it all. So a lot of that's his hands right on it. This room's walled off, that's right. This is the old lunchroom. But at one point in time, this used to be like a water boiler room. And I remember we took that water boiler and dragged it out of here and up the stairwell up here to get out of here. That was in the summer of '94. And I remember that because I worked here the summer that Matt Sundin was traded to Toronto for Wendell Clark, if you're a hockey fan. So this was the other way out of the parts department. We never really kept anything under here, sometimes a couple of tires, but that was it. When I worked here, the walls were white. But from here, if you came up here, this would take you right outside to the parking lot. This is where the parts drivers used to come in and out. Yeah, it's sealed, can't open it. It's even a note to riders still, when they used to deliver here, please don't slam the door. And here, we'll go up to the parts department. This is the door I was showing you from that walled area. And this is where our driver's desk was. Right here, we used to have a delivery desk, and this is where we put our invoices and small parts, and the drivers would take them and go. And up here, this was another little storage area we made. So we kept bulk items here, sometimes tires or just some awkward things that were going to get delivered. As I look at that paint peel. That's crazy. Yeah, and they would come through this door and go over to the parts department that I showed you. But because it's walled off, we can't do that. So we gotta go around a long way. Okay, Let's work our way back upstairs. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this explore. I really enjoyed bringing this one to you. This place really had a personal touch to me, and I think it's really cool that now that it's abandoned, I get to bring you guys something that's abandoned that was part of my life. And believe me, it was really cool growing up here. It was really cool coming to work here with my dad. We didn't always get along the best when we did, but I have nothing but fond memories of those days now, and I really miss those days a lot. So I'm glad that we did have that opportunity to have, you know, that in our lives before he got to sell his half and walk away from it all. That was a special memory for me, and it's part of why this place is still special to me, even though it's standing here in this state. So I'm glad I got to show you guys this place, and Dad, if you're watching this place, I'm really proud of everything you did. It's amazing what you accomplished, and I'm really proud to be able to show everybody this place. And even to this day, people still want me to say hello to my dad that knew him from this place. So that shows you what kind of guy he was. All right, everybody, that's all the time we got for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the explore. Please make sure you hit that like button. And of course, if you haven't, leave a comment and subscribe, because I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I need every one of you to subscribe. That's all the time we got. Craig Hind Dodge, my former workplace. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Just before we go, I want to say this video is dedicated to the life of my uncle, Emilio Polito. He was a huge part of my life growing up. We lost him last month, unfortunately. He was one of the family members that actually bought a car here and spent a lot of time here over the years. So, you know, I felt this was an appropriate video to dedicate to him. I'll remember him forever, and I will miss him forever. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next video.